I am Jessica Butts. Welcome to the Front Seat Life podcast, where I help you learn to be unapologetically who you are and live your life from the front seat through personal development, self-awareness, and real and raw conversations about life, love, and business. I'm a former psychotherapist and couples counselor turned author, speaker, coach, and lovingly, well, I hope so anyway, been nicknamed Jessica Kick Butts because I believe sometimes we need hand holding and sometimes we just need to be told the freaking truth, even if it hurts a little. So each week I'll be sharing truth bombs, life lessons, powerful interviews, and intuitive insights to empower you to get up, show up, and live your life in a new, powerful, authentic way. So if you're ready to climb into your front seat and embark on a journey of total transformation, you have come to the right place. Start your engines. Let's do this. All right, Front Seat Lifers, I have a very special guest with me today. So if you've been following along, which most of you are loyal, amazing, wonderful listeners, you listened to last week where I got super vulnerable, super real about why I wholeheartedly believe that COVID is happening for me, not to me. In addition, pause, they're about to do my lawn. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll have a piece of chocolate.
I knew it was about to happen. Oh, I didn't. I love that. Okay. Hi, we're back. Sorry, everybody listening. There might have been a weird lag in there. It's lawn day at my house, and I had my door wide open. And so, anyway, I've got Tarzan here with me today. And
can I just say something about that?
Yes.
The lawn thing? Because,
yeah.
Okay. Our lawn guy hasn't come yet this year. He starts in April.
Oh.
Well, we don't need anyone before April. I'm in Canada.
Oh, true.
It's like, yeah, the grass just started growing. But
yeah,
every time I'm on a meeting or in a podcast and I'm like, just a second, my lawn guy's here. I have to close the window. I feel so many feelings. Like all of my like waspy guilt comes up and I'm like, is it okay for me to have someone to mow my lawn? Oh my gosh. Entrepreneurship is such a journey. And that's one of the lessons that I had to learn to be okay with, which I'm still learning.
It's so true because I'm single, and so that's my excuse. I mean, I'm in a partnership, but I live by myself. But that is my excuse is like I'm not buying a house. You know, I bought my house 18 months ago, and I was like, I'm not going to buy a house where I need to mow my own lawn and edge and do that kind of shit. That's just not going to happen. So I still clean my own house. I mean, again, there's no judgment, but there's weird things that people like to do. I have great satisfaction in cleaning my own house for some reason. I don't even know what it is, but Friday mornings, that's what I do. And there's something about like lovingly caring for my house. But yeah, I'm not mowing my own lawn. So yeah,
well, I started cleaning the house again since COVID and our housekeeper is not coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe we should just clean our own house. Like, it's fine. We can do it. We'll save money. And then I realized I was like, no, actually, I love anytime I can put money directly into the hands of a local person, like this feels so good. Of course, I want to spread the wealth around, and then I don't have to clean my own bathroom.
Absolutely,
so that's
it's keeping the economy going. I totally agree. Okay, I love that we're already like Tarzan and I'm ahead of this. Where we're like we're just gonna riff, and I now love that we're talking about house cleaners and the lawn, but we actually have a point. So Tarzan and I met through Kate Northup, who is both of our coaches. We're in a mastermind together. I met her. She didn't meet me when she was on stage in a gold short jumpsuit, rocking the shit out of being a human being on Amy Porterfield's stage. So she was Amy Porterfield's copywriter. and one of her biggest DCA affiliates. And she got up there and I was like, who is this bitch? I'm in love with her. I mean, I knew I loved you before you even knew I existed. But then when I found out you were going to be, I had already said yes to Kate's mastermind. And then she was like, oh, Tarzan Kay's in. I'm like, of course she is, because that girl and I are meant to be BFFs. So anyway, that's how we met. I do think we are possibly separated at birth. We have very similar styles about us. We're both kind of like super ambitious freaks, just say whatever we want to say. Like, I think you're like the brunette version of me and I'm the blonde version of you. But
you said something. Here. I'm so happy to be here. On our mastermind call yesterday, you said something so good. You were like, I'm a scrappy bitch. I'm going to do it my way. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it my way too.
Yeah. And this is why I was attracted to you from the get-go, because I'm like, who the fuck gets up on stage in a short gold jumper? I mean, I just was like, this girl is, my whole tagline is, obviously this is my podcast, so everyone knows, be unapologetically who you are. And I was like, if that chick is not rocking being unapologetically who she is, I don't know who is. So I loved you before I even knew you, and now I actually know you, and you're better in real life. So welcome.
I gotta say something about the gold sequin jumper, because this happens to me every time I go on stage. I'm imagining myself giving a talk, and I'm wearing I'm so sparkly. I love sequins. Like, I have the most amazing collection of stuff with sequins on it. But this happens to me every time. When I'm about to get on stage, I'm like, you know what? I just want to wear my comfortable clothes. I just want to wear my jeans and a t-shirt. Like, I'm just going to be cool every day, Tarzan. And I have to psych myself up and be like, no, I'm on stage. I'm going to be larger than life, because that's who I am in life, even though I don't wear sequins every day. And I had the same moment with the gold sequin romper. And I was like, no, I'm wearing the romper. And I'm like walking down backstage, like getting ready to go on. And I'm like, okay, I'm in the romper. And then when I'm on stage, I'm like, oh yeah, this is who I am. I'm big. I'm larger than life on stage in my romper. And after, everyone's like, oh my God, your romper's so amazing. And I'm so glad I did it. But I also want to acknowledge that, like, I never want to do it. I'm always like, let me just be quiet and unassuming and go do my normal person thing.
Yeah. Because there's two versions of us, right? The way that I like to think about this as Beyonce has an alter ego or something, right? She calls herself Sasha Fierce or something. That's how I feel about getting on stage too. Like, there's the Jessica right now. Like, I've not showered. I stink. I have a hat on. Like, you know, I've got skin problems because I'm going through menopause, like all the bullshit of a real life. But there is something that I say this all the time. I'm about ready to throw up every time I'm about to get on stage. I'm super nervous. And then I get out there and I'm like, I am Sasha motherfucking Fierce right now. Like, I am so Beyonce's alter ego. Because Beyonce talks about that too. Like, she's just not, I'm not saying we're Beyonce, but you know, everyone's got this alter ego. And so she says that. She's like, I'm a pretty like down to earth kind of girl. And I just, you know, I'm a mama and I'm even a little bit introverted. She's like, but man, when I get out on stage, I just turn into a different person. So I'm glad you've rocked your Sasha Fierce on stage.
Well, I mean, I'm Tarzan. I wasn't born Tarzan.
Yes, this is true. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So I had a different name until I was like, I'm going to say about 28. And my mom had changed her name, and my mom had like not legally changed her name, but she was like, I'm going to go by Passionate now. Her name's Passionate. And we all, you know, we were like, okay, you're Passionate. I actually call her Passionate. Somehow when she made the transition with the name, I don't know. Sometimes I call her mom, but that feels weird to me actually sometimes.
Oh, weird. I've seen pictures of her. She's adorable.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's Passionate. And I was like, oh, and also I had some friends who changed their last name to Awesome. And I was like, what? You can change your last name? So it got my wheels turning, and I was like, I really think I'm ready for a new name. I feel my old name was Amy Knapp, and I felt like,
wow, I can't even imagine.
I know. It's like really unassuming, humble. I like to think that I'm humble, but I'm not that humble. Anyway, I wanted to have a new name and I was like, okay, like I knew that my family would be accepting of it because my mom had changed her name. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. I don't know what it is. And then this name Tarzan came to me and I was like, this is weird, but I think this is my new name. And people would ask me like, what's up with Tarzan? What's up with your name? And I couldn't really explain it. I was like, I don't know. That's the name. Like it was like cosmic. I just knew that's what it had to be.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. And then over the years, I was like, oh, that's why. Like, in order to be Tarzan or like Sasha Fierce, I had to show up differently. Like, I could not be quiet. I could not explain myself. Like, I had to show up and be fully Tarzan. And it was really life changing and also really great for my brand because, like, I dominate Google.
Do you? Oh,
well,
yeah, Tarzan.
Yeah, of course, like Tarzan Kay, like I dominate. But Amy Knapp, on the other hand, I put the rush on changing my name because I was publishing a book.
Oh.
And there was an Amy Knapp at the time. I don't think she's around anymore, but she sold these Christian family planners. And I was like, oh, that is so not me. I don't want to have to compete with her. She's already doing well. She's in like a totally different scene. Yeah. I just got to not be Amy Knapp.
Yeah. Okay, so let's, I want to jump into that. But tell us very quickly, like, who you are. Just, there's your name. Tell us what you do. And then I want to jump into the, like, showing up and being seen. Because it's literally what you do, what you help other people do. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to spend the majority of this podcast talking about how you and I, during COVID, decided to go through with our launches anyway. And what are the life lessons? I mean, normally I save these lessons for afterwards, but I've already had my breakdown and I'm now in the breakthrough process. So I'm already talking about it, even though I'm still in the middle of the launch while we're recording this. But hey, I'm a quick faller aparter and I'm a quick rebounder. So anyway, tell us who you are.
Okay, so I'm Tarzan. Wait, before I even go there, I just want to say I appreciate it so much that you're doing that. It's one of the things that my audience appreciates about me as well, that I'm like a radical truth teller and I don't wait until I'm firmly on the other side of my disasters and my failures to talk about them. Yep. I'll talk about them, not from like a bleeding wound, but I will say like this happened and it's hard.
Yeah. Last week I couldn't have talked about it. I mean, last week it would have been a hot mess. It would not have come out great. I did a lot of blubbering to, the main people in my life. I had my breakdown. And again, as I talked about last week, I've had 5 breakdowns in my life. This is the 5th. And every time, thank God, and this was no different, I have had an unbelievable breakthrough. I'm never stupid is the right word, like never stupid enough or selfish enough to think that, it's gonna happen. I'm just really grateful that the breakthrough happens. But yeah, the breakthrough that's coming is worth every single ounce of yuckiness that came out of a difficult launch. I mean, it's just...
Oh my gosh. My worst launches are where I learned the most. Oh. And to take it to a higher level, these huge challenges that we have, like, I believe these are presented to us in order for us to expand and grow and like fully live into our mission in life. We have to go through these things.
You're so speaking the truth. The truth. So last week I shared very vulnerably about the 5 breakdowns. One was finding out my husband was having an affair. Not good. Number 2 was starting my psychotherapy business and doing all the things that you're supposed to do and having it not work. And then having like the on your knees moments, yelling at God. I'm not going to lie, like on my knees in my therapy office, yelling at God, like, yo, bro, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. What's the lesson? Like, help a sister out. I have a funny relationship with God.
Did you really call God bro?
I do all the time. I like to joke that we have a very funny relationship. Like, he knows I'm funny, so I have to just be myself, and I would never, that's how we talk. Like, he's on this journey with me. He's guiding me, but, I got to do my part. So, yeah, he's my bro.
Okay.
I love him.
Is God male to you, though? That was my real question.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess
So
so.
can we just, I haven't even introduced myself yet, but I know we'll get to it.
I know.
And I want to hear about the rest of the breakdowns, but hang on, because I just read the most incredible book called Mary Magdalene Revealed.
Oh yeah, you were
and
saying
she talks
this yesterday.
about,
Tell me about this.
Yeah, so she talks about how like when the Bible was made, which was like, I don't know how many 100 years after Jesus Christ died, the books that were selected to be a part of the New Testament were super strategic. And the common thread that all of these books were brought together that is supported is that women cannot be spiritual leaders. And this is like, it is, yeah, women can't be spiritual leaders, and also that God is male. So that's like also where the pronoun he was given to God. And, you know, there's things like the Apostle Paul, who said like women shouldn't ask questions in their, not church, but, you know, women shouldn't ask questions. They should go home and ask their husbands. It's like very deeply ingrained in us that women can't be spiritual leaders, and also that God is male.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, what would be different in the world if God were not a man?
A lot.
A lot.
That fundamental belief that you just said. I mean, I certainly don't believe that spiritual leaders, can't be women. That's just utterly ridiculous. But You're right. But we do put pronouns on things that then create a whole nother subconscious belief. I mean, our subconscious beliefs are 90% of what guides us. And so we think things like that aren't important, but it's everything. I mean, it just drives how we think about everything and how we keep, putting white men. I mean, you live in another country, but white men into our government and all of those kinds of things that it can't look any different. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that, but I'm playing into that right now in that, and I'm okay with that actually. That he's my bro.
I love that God is your bro.
He totally is.
You're on your knees.
Is.
You're having a breakdown, bro. Help me out here.
Yeah. Okay. So that was number 2. Number 3 was actually leaving my marriage. Like, so he did the affair. I went back. I mean, there was lots of things, but that all happened. And then the actual leaving was definitely like a breakdown, kitchen floor moments, all of those. Number 4 was, I shared this last week, was I was going to move to Hawaii a couple of years ago. And I just went over there numerous times, huge trips, was fully planning on buying a house over there. And I came home and I had this huge epiphany that the only reason that I was moving is to avoid trying to find a relationship. This was my distraction of looking for a relationship. So that sucked. And I just was my baby in the back seat for about a week. I just bawled my brains out. I laid on my couch. It was not good. And then after that, I was like, okay, like breakthrough, that's a huge epiphany. And now what? And now this is number 5, is just this huge, huge, huge epiphany of, what we're going to talk about is that this wasn't God's plan for me. Like when last week, which seems like, a month ago, last week when I opened the cart for the launch, I did a lot of praying, and I know that God's plan supersedes my wishes. So I always say a lot of prayers of, God, if this is your plan, but then I joke, like, I really hope this is your plan. And it was not his plan. Yeah. Now I know why. So, in the middle of it, it hurts, but now I'm on the other side of it. And now I'm like, okay, now I know that wasn't your plan, because I have to learn all these other lessons that I'm now learning. And that to me is worth everything. It's worth having, again, it's not even that it wasn't successful. It just didn't meet the very thinky criteria that I thought it would, which is also could just be COVID. I mean, there's nothing. Yeah. Again, it doesn't even matter. It's just coming out of it is fascinating.
There's this one line in this prayer that I read every single day by this, I guess he's a priest. His name's Richard Rohr, and he's a total radical though. And this one line in this prayer that he sends a daily email, FYI, even priests can email daily. That's okay to do. And it ends with the same prayer. And there's this one line in it where he says, knowing you are hearing us better than we are speaking. And I love that.
Say it one more time.
Knowing you are hearing us better than we are speaking.
Oh,
So it's like I say my prayer, and the true intention of it is what gets back to me, what comes back, what I actually see manifested.
It's so true. It's so true. And that's why, everyone, my listeners know I'm very strong J. I'm very, focused, and this is what I want, and this is where I'm going. And in full transparency, my business and life had gotten a little out of control. Things I wrote down this morning, I was journaling in between the podcast I just did and this one, that I was on a train going faster than I wanted it to go with my business and my life. Things felt a little out of control. We need to hire this person. We need to hire this. We need to do this. We're going to go do this. We're going to do this launch to perfection. We're going to do all this stuff. We were hiring people fast. I mean, there's people on this team, and I was like, I don't even know who these people are. And it was just, it was crazy. We were just going on this train, and I realized straight up that the only way to have stopped this was COVID or something like it. I mean, again, this is obviously happening for other people for horrible, horrible reasons. But for those of us that are in this, asking ourselves this question, how is this happening for me, not to me? And now knowing full on, there's a lot of life lessons in this, but one of them is without this pandemic, I would not have on my own, and I can say that in full transparency, I would not have on my own stopped that train. It was going faster than I wanted it to go. It felt a little bit out of control, and I just kind of was along for the ride. And now I have this forced shutdown, and I'm like, all right, I get a chance to relook at things right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm sharing all my dirty deeds. Tell us some of the things you're learning.
Okay, well, hang on. I didn't even introduce myself yet. We just went.
I love that we're half an hour into this and nobody knows who the fuck you are yet. This is amazing. Hi, who are you?
This is who the fuck I am. I'm fucking Tarzan. Okay, I'm Tarzan Kay, and I don't usually swear so much, but you inspired me to curse more.
Oh, thanks. It's really
my mom's gonna listen, and she'll be like, I don't think you should curse so much, but that's okay. I love you, Mom. I see you, and thank you. So I am an email marketing super ninja. I'm excellent at email marketing. It's my jam. I write the best emails. I have an excellent program that's all about how to make more money from email, specifically for people who are launching digital courses and selling services. So that's my jam. But that's actually the vehicle that I use to teach my most important, to do my more important work, which is telling stories and bravely telling stories and inspiring others to bravely tell their story in the most powerful way so that we can get through it together. Because I really think stories are what unite us toward a common purpose. And I think our stories are how we get through hard things. And it's one of the great gifts that I came into this life with, which is I'm able to tell stories about hard things and make them sound funny. And I think we can all develop that. And that's what I use to do the awesome selling that I do with email. I've been able to do a lot with what is by industry standards, quite a small email list. And I really believe in the power of small when it comes to email and really connecting with people on a one-to-one level and not treating email marketing like it's people use, I think this is the funniest term, the term email blast. It's in your, this is just send a bunch of stuff, send it to 1,000 people and see what happens. I think we need to treat email marketing more humanely. And those that are doing it really well that's what they're doing is connecting with people, writing an email to one person rather than to 1,000 or 10,000 people and actually listening for the replies and starting conversations through email. And that's where you will see you can do some really awesome radical selling even when you don't have a large email list. So that's my jam. That's what I'm all about. And I also I have my own program about email marketing, but I also do I have several affiliate promotions.
Why do you do that? Tell us why you do that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Great question. So in the early stages of my business, I was a copywriter and I was writing copy for clients. But I also wanted to try, like I wanted to experiment with launching. I wanted to sell courses, but I didn't know how to really do any of that. And so the first launch I ever did was an affiliate promotion for B School, which I promoted for several years and I'm still a total supporter of. So I launched and I made a bunch of sales, even though it was a really competitive sale for B School, because there's a lot of affiliates offering a lot of really amazing bonuses. And I was like, oh man, I'm actually good at this. And also, oh my God, I learned so much. And as a copywriter who was writing for other people who were launching their own products, that firsthand knowledge was invaluable. I was like, oh my God, being on the other side of a launch, like I actually know what is entailed in getting this done. So, I can tell if someone has the capacity to do a whole bunch of expiring bonuses or if they should maybe skip that because they don't have the right support, like simple things like that. So I was like, this is a great way to make money without making my own courses. I have only promoted, actually, this isn't 100% true. I've made mistakes and promoted things that I wish I had to take back. But for the most part, that happened to me once. And then I realized, okay, actually, I'm only going to promote programs that I have purchased myself and gotten results from. So I'm really radical about that because I can promote with so much more integrity if I've paid for the product and actually watched it and gotten results from it. Otherwise, like the promotion is just not as strong and I don't enjoy it as much.
Sure. Well, especially because you believe so much in being authentic. I mean, that's one of my number one values is to be authentic and transparent. And if I don't believe in something, or for that matter, someone, I've said this for years, like I actually can't be friends with people I don't respect. I just can't. And so I certainly can't sell it to people that I love, which are my clients and my students. Like I'm not going to go promote something. So I could see you having the same feeling of like, I can't go do that. It feels out of integrity.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. And, but I learned that by doing things that were out of integrity. And I realized that like my integrity is like the most important thing in my business. And it's what people appreciate. My audience consistently tells me is like, they appreciate that I'm authentic and open and they trust me. Like I've built up a level of trust because, and one of the reasons is because like I have made mistakes and I have gone back and said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Can I have a take back or will you forgive me? So they know that. They see me. I'm out there. I'm trying things. I'm trying things they've never seen before. And their trust is so important to me. So if I like, it hurts my heart to think if I've ever broken their trust, I will ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. And doesn't that always work though? I mean, I as a former therapist, it was one of the things that works more than ever is asking for a sincere apology. People would be like, does that really work? I'm like, why don't you try it? Like I was a couples counselor and I would be like, why don't you try it? And the person, the partner's like, oh my God, it's all I wanted to hear. It's all I wanted to hear. I'm like, it's just so funny how we assume that somehow we need to not do that or that it's not important. I mean, it doesn't fix everything, but I don't know. A really great apology fixes a lot of stuff.
It fixes a lot. And the other thing is like, there's like such perfectionism, so many people struggle with perfectionism and they see these like, they're internet gurus that are executing with perfection all of their launches. And like, it helps my audience to see my humanity that when I'm like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. I wish I hadn't done that. I messed up and I'm sorry. They feel my integrity because I am being truthful. I'm not trying to get them to like me by messing up and saying sorry. So they can sense a genuine apology and they also see like, okay, if Tarzan can make mistakes, then it's okay for me to try things and I can make mistakes too.
Yeah. And be ballsy. I mean, I think that's what's part of what I'm hoping we'll get to. And I guess I'm going there now is that part of what you and I both just had to decide to do was you and I both had a moment when COVID was starting And you're on the East Coast in Canada, and it was way after it hit Seattle. I mean, so I was in it for a couple of weeks, kind of watching everybody else do stuff still. And I was like, okay, I really need to make a decision. Like, it feels like the rest of the world's going on, but Seattle's kind of falling apart. Like, do I go through with this launch anyway? And you had to make the same decision. And tell me about that. Tell me about what that was like for you to make that decision. Then I want to come back to something else.
Okay, so there's so many factors that played into it. Like, we have been, like, I cleared my promotional calendar for the whole winter so that I could promote this program Impacting Millions. Like, I had a really long runway. Like, I have been talking about it since December. I knew, like, people, as someone actually said, like, I'm so grateful that you mentioned this in December because I've been saving for it and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome.
So it would have felt like super weird to just can the promotion all of a sudden because I had said I was going to do it. And I had not just money invested, but like a lot of manpower. Like, my team had been working on creating the promotional assets. You know, it wasn't my launch, so I didn't have the option to just move it out. And like, I was promoting Impacting Millions by Selena Sue. And I trust Selena. She's a really smart businesswoman. I knew that she would tackle the promotion with like, you know, empathy and be sensitive to the situation, which she absolutely did. So, and also, like, we just, like, I have employees. Like, I can't just stop selling. And I figured, like, the worst that could happen is we don't hit our sales goal. But otherwise, what other option is there? Do we try and sell some cheap product and make money that way? Like, we were so well prepared. It just seemed like I didn't see another road that looked like easy or like, you know, a better way to make money. I just thought, I'm really invested in this. I also felt like, because I feel so firmly on my mission right now, like inspiring people to tell stories and to be on their mission and to be powerful in their message. And this Impacting Millions program, which is about how to get publicity, is like, it plays in so beautifully to that. There was no way I was canceling it.
Yeah. That's funny. It's pretty much the same exact reasons for me. Number one is, as a successful entrepreneur, you do have to have a plan. Like, you gotta, you know, it's not just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like, this is what we're doing. This is the plan. Like, what else are we going to do, kind of a thing. And then still having a massive, massive belief in what you're putting out into the world. And I think that's a really important piece of this is, like you were just saying, even about supporting other people. It's like, I have to, with full integrity, know that if you have the financial means, just like the people who bought from you that are going to buy this product, that this is worth the investment. And I get that there are things like outside of people's control, like, you know, COVID and losing jobs and things like that. But the belief in your product and your plan and the longevity of your business, I think speaks a lot to sticking with your plan.
Yeah. And I, like, in my earlier years in business, I was totally deciding, like, I would launch on the fly. Like, oh, I don't have clients next month. I think I'll launch this program or something. I wasn't nearly as organized as I am now. And like, we have our 2020 promotional calendar. Like, it's all laid out for us. Like, the next thing we're promoting is my email program in June. And then we'll do Digital Course Academy in September. And then we'll have our Email Stars Black Friday promotion in November. Like, it's all there. And it's a really good plan. And if you move one thing, you kind of have to move everything.
Yeah.
So yeah. I just, you know, what else can we do but keep putting one foot in front of the other? I don't see that it would help us to like shut it down. I also felt so proud of all of the assets, the promotional assets that we created for this last promotion that we did. Like, so many artists put their work, their effort, and their time into creating this amazing promotion. And I felt so grateful. I actually felt like, and this is actually really key. So in the past, there have been times where I worked my ass off for a launch. I worked so hard and I didn't really love the work. And then when it came to cart open day, I felt like the work owed me something. I felt like I put all this time and effort into it. You owe me. You better pay off. You know, like you better make me some money now. And I did not, this was like, I wouldn't say the first time that I didn't have that expectation, but the first time I fully just felt so proud of what we created. I felt so grateful that I was able to pay all the people that worked on this launch with me. And I felt so nourished by the work of putting the promotion together. I felt like this has already given me so much. It has allowed me to be firmly in my purpose and doing the work that I came here to do. It doesn't owe me one penny. I would have been devastated if it didn't make any money. But the sales were like, we hit, like we made 40%, like we had hit 40% of our sales target. Yeah. Our sales target was massive. Like we knew it was a stretch and we actually set that sales goal prior to there being a global pandemic. Yeah. So it was a stretch before the pandemic. It was way more of a stretch going into it. Even so, we made 40% of our goal. And I feel so proud. I don't feel like it owes me anything. The other thing is with launches, like there's always a ripple effect. I call it the launch halo. Yeah. And it's like,
love it.
Every time you launch something, every time you put yourself out there in this way, where you're very public, very clear on what you're here to teach, how you can help, and you're sending lots of emails and social media posts, and you're like really banging your pots and pans about what you do, so much happens. Like so many more people become aware of what they could achieve through working with you. And things happen. Like maybe someone invites you to speak at their event, or maybe they buy your next program because they like that one so much. Maybe someone wants to work with you privately for a really fat fee because they just see how talented you are and that you have what you want. Like you just don't know. Something that I always say is like, never judge your launch in the middle of the launch. And even at the end of the launch, it's still true. Like you do not know right now. I don't know. The cart's closed on our promotion. I still do not know what's coming out of it. I don't know. I can't
That's a really beautiful attitude. And as we are recording this podcast, I am literally right in the middle of my launch. And that's funny that you say that. And that's why I laugh hysterically is because I'm totally judging it.
You're totally judging it.
I'm totally judging it. So this is actually good conversation for me as well. But I wanted to say something about the showing up piece. I'm just in full transparency. This has been hard. I mean, I'm sure for you, there were days where I was like, I would rather stay in bed. I would rather not deal with this, like not put on makeup, not have to show up as a leader, not get on social right now, not promote the shit out of this thing. Because you're right. It is a long window. I mean, mine started literally when COVID hit Seattle. So my launch started, again, we were already like in the midst of it at the beginning of March. And so I had like this 6 weeks during COVID leading up to it, like listening to all the news, whatever. And in not even hindsight, because it's not even over, but in hindsight, being really grateful for 2 things. One, to be able to have an opportunity to show up. And number 2, as I've written 2 books, and I know that when you're kind of held to 225 pages, or you're held to showing up during a global pandemic, you know what happens? You would get really, really clear about your messaging. You get really clear. And people right now, like whatever, I just find them hysterical. The influencers or the Instagram influencers, whatever the fuck these people are. And they're out talking about everything under the sun. And, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this. And I'm going to talk about this. It's like, no, I'm going to talk about one thing right now. And I'm going to talk about personality type and human behavior. And that's it. And for you being able to show up in your niche, I mean, it's been interesting. You launched about a week and a half before I did, and you kind of ended yours right when I was starting mine. And it was fun to watch you show up as a leader, clear in your messaging, not always perfect, but always showing up. And I just think I agree with you that I know, having been doing this as long as I've been doing this, that you never know when you're going to help that person. You never know when you're going to make that impact. You never know when they're going to come back and say, okay, I saw you back during, COVID-19 and you were doing all the things and I was too in my back seat to do anything about it now, but now I'd like to be able to work with you in some way. And that to me is probably the greatest gift, is knowing that it is happening no matter what, and us showing up and somewhat being forced to show up, but knowing that we're making an impact by doing this during this crazy time.
Yeah, I did get so much of that. Like, it's really hard to hear people again and again be like, I wanted to buy it, but I lost my job, or like my husband lost his job, or whatever. That's a lot. And then you have to keep showing up with a big smile on your face and cheering people on. Like,
Totally.
it is such heavy work. Like, it's heavy work, but yeah, I also found it so hard. Like, a lot of time, like I was like calling my coach every day and I was doing like so much breath work, and I was just like, reaching in and grabbing every tool in the box that I had.
Yeah.
And on the last day, I was like, I would like lay on the floor and then I'd be like, oh, okay, breathe. Okay, I'm going to go write an email. And I would go like, like brush my hair and like make a video and write an email. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to lay on the floor for a while. I would like lay on the floor, call someone. Okay,
this literally sounds like my last 2 weeks. This is perfect.
Yes, totally. Yeah. And now like lay on the couch and like talk to someone on the phone. Like, okay, I'll answer some Facebook messages. I'm going to go to it. I would like work in 20-minute sprints.
Totally.
And then like, yeah.
Totally.
It was so hard.
I told a bunch of my friends, I just said, I am being selfish AF. Like, I love all of you and I got to shut everybody else out. I cannot. I've got to just be able to take care of myself right now. And that it requires just being super, super selfish with my time. So
yeah, I think it's so good to let the people in your life know. Cause even like my husband, usually like he does not like it when I work after 5. I never work on the weekend. I don't even work on Fridays. I'm like, I have like a tight 30-hour work week and that's it. But he was so graceful with me and he was like, I know you got to work. I know you got to make this happen. So I work, I was like writing emails on Saturday, writing emails on Sunday, like totally gone, basically physically present, but not here at all. And once it was over, I was like, okay,
yeah,
about the secret thing I did.
Yes, I do. I love it.
And then just, like a little decompression thing. And then I was like, okay, I actually need to fully put my phone away. And It was Easter weekend. So I was like, I'm turning my phone off and I am going off the grid for 4 days. I didn't announce it anywhere. I actually didn't even tell my team, although they know to expect that sort of thing from me. So, like I'm never working on a holiday. Yeah. So I just fully took the 4 days off, knowing like, and my team even messaged me, like someone's asking questions about impacting millions. I was like, I trust you. Yeah. I'm not available.
Yeah. 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 You and I have very similar philosophies. And I hope that, the entrepreneur listeners that I have are hearing this, that, you work 30 hours a week and I do not work on the weekends. My team does not work on the weekends. In fact, I ask them, do not respond to people on the weekends because it sets a precedent. And totally. As Oprah says, that people will treat you. You teach people how to treat you. And if you respond at 9 p.m., that's what they're going to expect. If you are responding on the weekends, that's what they're going to expect. And I just believe in compartmentalization. And you and I seem to have a very similar philosophy on that. Like when I am working, I am full in. When I am with my partner, I am full in. When I am with my friends, I am full in. Like it is my savior. And Fridays, not during launch either, but I normally take Fridays off and it is just my day for myself. And then, the weekends are for other people. And it makes me insane.
This is so important. And we need to treat our customers. We need to teach our customers how to treat us, but we also need to set the example for other entrepreneurs.
Because I could not agree more.
Yeah. Like if industry standard is you have to answer emails at midnight, then like it's like sets a precedent for all of us and we all have to do it. And the person who doesn't looks like an asshole. So, I notice like for the women in my mastermind who I'm supporting, like I'm carrying the torch for them. I'm like, look, it's possible. You can do this too.
Yep. And it just makes us better people all the time. I did the same thing. I went away for Easter weekend and I don't even know if I checked my phone the whole time. It was just delightful. And then I came back and I was like, okay, like I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to jump in, but man, I needed that. So I want to tell very quickly, one of the things that I'm learning it's mid-launch right now, but one of the awarenesses I'm already having, and then I'd love for you to share a couple too. And this is super vulnerable. I mean, this is pretty up there right now. That pre-launch, I had a story that this was going to be my story. I was going to be able to come out of this and say, look how I did a $200,000 launch during COVID. That was like going to be my thing. And now I'm realizing again that would have just been fucking annoying. It would have just been obnoxious, actually. And the messages that I'm getting this week, the breakthrough after the breakdown is there's so many better lessons. I mean, we're already talking about them right now. I was so as a J, like, right, I have these blinders on. This is so what I'm going to do. This is absolutely what's going to happen. And then God has this completely different plan for me. And now I'm redoing my funnel and I'm talking to my director of operations of like, I don't know if I want to do this. I may just want to have evergreens. And what does that look like? And how can I have more fun again? And how can how can I show my humanity, which is what people really want? And so now I get to just show up and be like last week's podcast and this week's podcast. And next week's is going to be about how I got scrappy. And it's just like getting super honest and not showing up as like this, oh, I had it all together. But it's like, I didn't have it all together, and that's okay. And what I learned from not having it all together. So I'm curious in our last, few minutes here, like what are some takeaways for you? You've done way more launches than I have, but you've probably never done one during a global pandemic. So
no, I have not.
Yeah. So what are some of your big takeaways, Tarzan, about what it's been like for you?
So I think for me, I'm always coming back to the same thing, which is like, I am here to be on the journey. And I spent a lot of time thinking that being in business was all about making a certain level of revenue. And when I made a certain level of revenue, I would feel successful and I would feel like I'd made it. And I got so off track, Jessica. I got so far off track and I was so tired.
Preach into the choir.
Yeah. I just it took me way off course, and it took my coach shaking me and waking me up. And I'm so grateful to her for doing that. And, reminding me that I'm here to be on the journey. I'm here to learn things, and I'm here to truly connect with people. And I don't care how much money I make if I'm not enjoying it. It's like I did that last year. I made so much money, but I was not enjoying it. I was burnt out, and I did too many launches. And so this year I was like, okay, that's not how I'm working anymore. I'm here to be on the journey. And so when I decide what I'm going to promote and how many things I'm going to promote and how much I'm going to work, the question I have to come back to is this enjoyable for me? Is this something that I like doing? Or am I doing it just to make money? And if you're doing it just to make money, that's getting back to that idea that I did all this work. Now this launch owes me something, or my audience. I gave you all this free content. Now you owe me money, pay up. It doesn't feel good at all. It just confirmed for me now that we're on the other side of it. having not made the money that we wanted to, but we did well, we did fine. We're certainly not in the hole. It really just confirmed for me, like I need to constantly go back to why I am doing this and what's really important to me. I also had a moment. I had a moment during this launch where I forgot, and I was just sort of fell into the mode of trying to make as many sales as possible and trying to talk to as many people and telling them, hey, buy this product. And like I slipped and that was an important reminder to me, like, oh, I'm not immune to like being a bullshit marketer. Like, not that I had huge slips, just like the occasional little message here and there. But to me, like, it strikes my heart with a spear to think if I ever told anybody they should buy something that I didn't think they really should buy. So that was really important to me to remember, like, when I get really caught up in the numbers and winning and being the top affiliate, like, I do think my tendency is to slip and do things that are out of integrity. So that was really important to me. And it also I'm grateful to my team because they reminded me, so I shared that with them, and it reminded me too, to keep sharing, like, this is why I'm running this business. This is the kind of job I want to provide you with. This is the kind of boss I want to be. These are the kind of students I want to attract. And we could do things differently, and you'd have a different kind of job, and we'd maybe have more money and maybe have a different kind of student. And it's not why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Amazing. I will, by the way, I adore you. I just, yes to all of this. And I think what's fun too is knowing you and I are on similar places in our business, and knowing that some of my listeners aren't quite here yet, and being able to hear your honesty about, I think people think it's always better the bigger you get. And that's not true. It's the same stuff at every level. Am I having fun? Is this in alignment with my core values? Is it in alignment with my life or my business? Is it in alignment with my personality type? Am I pushing a boulder up a hill? And then here's another question that's really up for me right now. And if I'm, being transparent again, is that the part of that train that was kind of out of control was our building and our expenses. And what's next, and where are we going, and how big can we get, and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, this was and I am proud. This is by far the most beautiful, elaborate, gorgeous A+ launch we've ever done. And it was a little over the top, maybe, because this is a question that I come back to, and this is what COVID right now is doing for me, is reminding me to ask the question, when is enough enough? Why is $500,000 not enough? Why is $750,000 not enough? Why is $1 million not enough? Right? Like, I'll get to a point that I say to myself, this number is sustainable for me to have everything I want and to be happy. Yet then this dangly carrot, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, and this is super honest, but the dangling carrot, oh, what's another $250,000? What can that do for me? And what I'm realizing is that it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So I have to decide what number it is for me. Then how can I live like Profit First teaches? How can I live within my budget? How can I be smart? How can I connect with my people? How can I still be of service? How can I still have fun? How can my team still have fun? How can we do this thing? And everybody's different. Everybody is different. I don't desire to have, a $16 million business. I don't really want that in my life, but the allure of that gets a little bit out. I'll just speak for myself. It has gotten a little bit out of my control. Part of that train that was going faster than I could control was that we need to do this, and we need to do this, and we need to do this. And there's part of me that will admit, like, it was out of my control. I was like, oh my God, okay. Well, I don't want you to be unhappy as my team, and maybe you need this, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we need this. And then just being like, no, 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 no. Like, when is enough enough? And as the CEO and the owner of the company, the one paying the bills, we get to decide that. And everybody gets to decide when is enough for them. It might be $1 million. It might be 100 or 100 grand. It might be $100 million. I don't know what it is, but you're right. It's about fun. Going back to my theme words, I revisited my theme words today. Focused, leadership, visionary, have fun, self-soothing, and love and partnership.
I just want to add one little addendum because I agree with everything. And also, you still have to do hard things. We still have to do hard things.
Sure.
Like,
absolutely.
It's really fine line. It's like, it's not always black and white. Like, some things is like, this feels awful. I don't want it. Like, let's say you don't want a live launch anymore. It feels like shit. You've done it 1,000,000 times. You know that you don't like it.
Yep.
I have live launched many times. It's really hard. Sometimes you feel like you're rolling a boulder up a hill. On the other hand, I'm willing to do that. And a lot of there's so many, it's such a personal development journey to be a business owner. There's so many things. You have to have so many breakdowns to have all these breakthroughs. So it is going to be uncomfortable. But if it's uncomfortable every moment of every day, there is a major issue.
Yeah. And that is what I find that this time, and this is what we do after every launch, right? After every event, after every launch, after everything we do, there's a reevaluation time. And then what's the new normal after it? And during COVID, for sure, what's the new normal? I've decided I really am enjoying napping. It's like my new thing. I really, really enjoy it. And how do I make space in my life for that? How do I make space in my life to be done easily at 5 o'clock and go down to the water and paddleboard and sit and leave my phone at home and not feel guilty? Again, what is the reevaluation? So there is no doubt, and I love that you said that, because there is no doubt that there will be hard things again. But it is also a time to reevaluate of is this hard all the time? And it goes back to my personal choices, right? You have 2 kids. I don't have any kids. I think I'm 10 years older than you are. I don't know. Everybody has different things in their life. And that is what I've also spent the last week really, really reevaluating, is that I got to get back to the Jessica way. Not the Tarzan way, not the Amy Porterfield way, not the Kate Northrup way, my way. What's my way? And my intuition and God are my drivers, period, end of story. That is what guides me. And as I said last week in the episode, is the only way that I know how to figure that out is by getting quiet. Taking a break, getting quiet, extending my morning practice, going away, going on a journey like you did, whatever we need to do. But if we never stop and reevaluate and get quiet, all of a sudden that train is going to be going before we know it. And then, sometimes it's harder to stop that. So that's why I wanted to have you on today. It's why I'm grateful for this crazy pandemic right now, because it's slowing things down. It's giving me this opportunity to pause and really reevaluate. Yeah, to reevaluate what do we want? What do we want? And we get to do that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love you. Oh, we need to do this again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Tarzan, how can my followers follow you? Because they're going to want to.
Well, definitely get on my email list. That's where I do my best work. Yes. And I have lots of freebies to entice you to get on there. So if you go to tarzankay.com/email, you'll find a 10 email promo sequence swipe. That's quite useful for writing promo emails. But honestly, just thank you.
Yeah.
So,
really
but just
great.
get on there for the emails, because I'm doing really good work over there. And if you feel like you don't get email, or you don't want to be spammy or gross, you want to know how to do it with integrity, but still send a lot of emails and make stacks of cash, get on my email list, because that's what I do and that's what I teach.
Yeah. And they're fun. You'll never say that about anybody's. I mean, everybody tries to model Tarzan's by being cute and fun, but it's just so effortless with you. So thank you, darling.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, here is today's type tip. It's such a great tip that I actually did a full episode on it not too long ago called Ambiverts Are Bullshit. So if you want to go back and listen to that episode, it's a great one. And today's tip is a shorter explanation as why ambivert is not a thing. And here's why. In our front seat, which is my creation, the Front Seat Life creation off of Myers-Briggs, we have two people in our front seat, two parts of our personality. One is introverted and one is extroverted. Those two parts of our personality make up together 80% of our energy. So all extroverts are not just extroverted. They also have a co-pilot in their front seat that makes up another part of their personality. So oftentimes extroverts will say, but I'm a little bit of both. And I say, yes, you are, because your front seat is equal parts extrovert and introvert. And the exact same thing is true for introverts. Introverts will say, but there's times when I'm so extroverted, and I will say, of course there is, because it is part of your front seat. And those two people are balanced. It's your driver and your co-pilot together in the front seat. One is introverted, one is extroverted. That is why there is not this ambivert thing. It is just a creation of both parts of these that make up our front seat, the Front Seat Life methodology, and all of our best self. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you so much for listening. I know that you have a ton of options, and the fact that you are taking time to listen to the Front Seat Life podcast means absolutely everything to me. If you're interested in learning more about the Front Seat Life way of life in the community, there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is always starting with your personality assessment tool. It's available on my website at jessicabutts.com. It's totally free, and it will help you figure out your personality type so you'll have some idea of what we're talking about. Next is, if you're interested in hiring me for a keynote or some coaching or strategy days or the fabulous and amazing Front Seat Life community, you can find out all about all of that at jessicabutts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.